pin moving with the boys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Oh my God. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today we have a very, very special guest. This is not only my best friend, but my longest friend I've ever had. Jack, how are you today, brother?
Doing good. Doing good, brother.
Good,
Glad to be here.
good. Glad to have you. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing good. It's a nice day. Can't complain. Took a nap. I'm
Yeah.
super happy about that.
Yeah, we got a good round in today, filmed some stuff. It was a great day. Got a video. We have a really important video coming up this Friday that you guys should all go check out. And then the Friday after is a more chill, vibey video where me and Dave are just talking. I kind of wanted to do it on the podcast, but I figured doing it in video form would be better for everyone. And you get to see a little more disc golf. So I'm super excited about both those videos coming up. Um, Another round shirts are out. Oh
They are.
wait, it's on this side. They look great. Jack, I can get you one if you want.
Yeah, no, those shirts are sick. Did you show them the back of it too?
Oh, I haven't. Is it time?
Yeah, you got to stand up and do it.
Okay.
Oh man.
So, if you ever see me and Dave out on the course wearing these, come say hi, take a photo. Even though we're not famous, just come chill. Jack's got the party
For
shirt.
for the audio listeners now that we're on Spotify, Ian.
We are on Spotify now. The Spotify is up and running. Let me show all the beautiful people this.
But
Bad Throws, Good Bros podcast. It has all of our podcasts that we've made so far up there. It's just audio. I think there is actually video on there now.
oh damn.
Yeah, I think that's wild. So that's super sick. My Discord is glitching, but recording looks good. So I'm gonna try not to have a seizure while I look at us just going like this the whole time.
Nice. For
Um,
the for the audio listeners, Ian was showing off the jersey that we made some customizations to. Put our names, numbers, and bad throws, good bros on the back of them.
yep. Um, Jack, I'll have to buy you a jersey and send it to you for your birthday, buddy, because it's coming up.
Yeah. I would love the jersey. But
May-
you do have a full year. My birthday was April 3rd,
Well,
so
yeah, I know.
it's okay.
Maybe a late birthday present, brother. Maybe a late one.
Yeah, we could do you could find any reason to send me a jersey. So
Uh, what if I come down in like a week?
I know. I do. I gotta explore some of the new courses out here in Phoenix. So um because I feel like they're all outside of Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm very downtown central Phoenix, and obviously there's no space for disc golf courses. So you really got to move and get out to reach the good courses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've been in Phoenix for what? Almost a full year coming up here soon.
Yeah, you're right. Almost a full year. Went to school up at Northern Arizona University, on Flagstaff. Um, grew up in Colorado with Ian, right? So used to all four seasons, the mountains, the forest, the trees. Disking down here is very different. You don't got big bandos, big trees. Um, you got snakes. Um, so yeah, I've been down here for about a year now.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Um, been in Phoenix. I mean, I talk to you every day, but like, give the people a little more, if you will.
Yeah. Um, I mean, the disc scene down here, I would say, is something I'm not a huge fan of. I've always had really easy access to disc golf courses. They've been in Colorado. I mean, I think we all know Colorado is a big one for disc golf. And I think Phoenix um, is a lot different. I think land in wide open parks and spaces is a lot more scarce here because everyone's moving to Phoenix. I mean, everyone's moving to Denver as well, but I think there's just a lot more appreciation for the outdoors and those outdoorsy sports. Whereas here, like a tiny park is squeezed in between like two buildings, and it's
Mm-hmm.
maybe 100 yards wide. Um, and so like these courses are scrammed. Like the closest course to me, um, all the holes are going over all these sidewalks, and it's like I don't feel comfortable like going through this like tiny windy sidewalk that's on the side of a road, and where I'm having to throw my disc where people are walking, biking, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, or there's just a bunch of these 9-hole courses that are stuck in these tiny little like boxed grassy patches. I almost like to call them, not even a park.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely been hard to play out here in Phoenix, but Flagstaff is where I feel like disc golf really had the biggest impact on my life throughout college. Where I went to escape, the way I viewed it was, hey, like, screw hiking. I'm just gonna go hike, but also play a game and chase after my disc.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I went with buddies. We have a beer out there, and it was where I kind of decompressed. Um, I think Flagstaff, there is a huge disc golf scene, and there's a community, and you definitely feel at home when you just show up to courses, and you can just know that you can meet someone there and then just play around, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's just that small town vibe as well.
Sweet man. Yeah. I wish you were up here in Salt Lake. Playing with us. We could be the three amigos up here, but a little far away in Phoenix. So
I know.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our first topic of the day. It is Champions Cup. Oh, that's for later. Champions Cup. Let's start with FPO. Dave, run me through FPO and what you thought of the weekend.
Dude, wild finish to FPO this year. Um, it was fun to watch that it wasn't a runaway event. I know we had the really long rain lightning delay on round two, was it?
Yes.
Where everything kind of got grinded to a halt there for what felt like forever. I thought they might cancel the round, but they were able to finish it out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Evelina Salonen taking it down, second major ever win for her. Um, she's able to do it in by just putting the disc in the fairway. I mean, her putting still didn't look great, dude.
No.
I final round watching those highlights, she was shanking 20 footers 15 feet right of the basket.
Yeah.
So it really came down to throwing and staying in the fairway. Um, but nonetheless, there was it Henna shot a 5 under final round to come within one and take down second place.
Yeah. Um.
Um, tied with Own
Yeah.
also in second place.
Yeah. I thought Hannah had a great last round. She played smart golf. Only took one bogey. Had the eagle on hole 5, which I think Evelina should be eagling that hole every day, but that's for another. I don't think she eagled it any round.
She
Um,
didn't, which was kind of wild. And Kristen went 7 under on that hole all weekend,
mhm.
3 eagles and 1 birdie.
Yeah. It was definitely interesting to watch. I actually, we had a great time at the shop watching some FPO coverage. Thursday and Friday, I was there, waiting for the weather delay. Um,
It's nice to see like newcomers like Silva Sarnen on coverage throwing really well.
yeah. I thought she played really well. Round two and three. Um, Especially round two, considering the circumstances. Obviously she triple bogeys two, she bogey seven, and triple or double bogeys 14. But those are arguably some of the harder holes on the course, and it was interesting to watch how some of those players handled that pressure and the conditions and the weather delay. You wake up at I think some of them were teeing off at 8 and they didn't finish their round until 5 in the afternoon, the same round. So props to the ladies out there who really put on a good showing. Um, yeah. Yeah. Jack, anything to add? I know you didn't watch too much coverage, but.
No, I definitely used to watch a lot of disc golf, and that was just like my go-to. Like making lunch, sit down, eat my lunch, and watch my disc golf. Um, and Andrew Presnell, where did he? Is he new? Never heard of him.
So, yeah, let's move on. MPO.
Yeah.
Andrew Presnell.
I swear, yeah, I switched my right to NPO.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Andrew Presnell's been around for a while. Um, I don't. He's not a big name like Calvin or AB or Ricky, but he's been around for a while. And I was talking to Ben about this in the shop, but this course just fits his game so well because he's not known for the big 800-foot, just power hyzers like AB, Rick, and Calvin. Some of those guys are. This guy is 500 feet max and just hits. Jack, he could hit a line this big 40 feet off the fairway. Like, this course is so tough, and like the guy who designed it wanted even par to be a good score for these guys. And Andrew Presnell is just a guy who hits the lines. I thought,
He
go for it, Dave.
he
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, fun little stat. He didn't have over a single bogey all week on this course, which is insane
Yeah.
with how tight the fairways are, how close the OB is.
They're
His
pretty
highest,
Illinois.
Say that
what's
again,
that?
Jack.
Is it gonna be? Is it pretty windy since it's in Illinois?
It was super windy, very wet, and he just was able to stay consistent and never shoot, never have any blow up holes all weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah. Um, it was really fun watching the last round with. I'm not gonna say who, because hopefully he'll be on the podcast in a week or two. But watching it with one of the pros, and he was talking about us and how Andrew Presnell is just an awesome guy. And yeah, Jack, you got to go watch the coverage, man. So day two, FPO finishes their round. MPO lead card gets 2 holes in before they have to call it for the night because it's too dark to play. And MPO that third day, instead of just playing one round, some of those guys played pretty much 2 rounds, like 34 holes of disc golf um, in 2 days. I mean, that's a lot, especially at that level where you have to be so dialed in and, it was crazy. And day two, when they came back from their lightning delay, the wind was like 40, 50 mile an hour, just gusts. And it looked so inconsistent, but yeah.
And on that hard of a course to play that many holes in a day, to like get a super early round in, basically break for lunch and come back and play another one.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I like that. I feel like they should have just canceled. I know some of the guys were already out, had already started playing some of the holes, but
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be a better solution to that than, you know, having some of these players be out there playing that much golf in a day.
Yeah, I was shocked that they even. I think with the FPO, I wasn't that shocked that they decided to finish the round. But with MPO, I was kind of shocked to see that they even decided to count that third round. With just the weather conditions, this whole situation that happened with the weather delay. Um, and yes, it is an elite series and it's a major event. But do we need 4 rounds to decide a major event at such a tough course? You know, that's kind of the question I was asking myself. Is like, do these guys really need 4 rounds to decide who wins? Because it is such a tough course. Whether like you need to be the best disc golfers in the world to win in that course, anyways, and then add the weather conditions. Like I would be happy if I shot 30 over in 1 round at that course because of just the way the weather was and how hard it is.
Yeah. I mean, Casey White was leading all up until that third round, and I don't think he has it in him to play 2 rounds at Northwood Black in a day. And that second round of the day kind of caught up to him. He ended up shooting what +4 that round.
Yeah, I can pull
It
it back
took
up.
a triple bogey on hole 14 and finished the back nine at
Yeah, so
7 over.
round three, triple bogey, 4 over round two, round three. Round one and two was 7 under, 4 under. Round three was 4 over, and then his final round was 3 over with a triple bogey on 18. So
Ooh,
that's tough to see for Casey. You know,
Yeah.
he did put on a very good showing those first few rounds, but it was a tough showing those last 2 rounds for sure. And you know, we saw some of the best players in the world: Eagle McMahon, who's recently back from injury, AB, Cannon Bird, not do well at this course because it is so tight and technical. So you know, it is what it is. Disc golf will go on. Congrats to Andrew Presnell. If you ever want to join the podcast, you're more than happy to, my friend. So, um,
I definitely got to watch those highlights.
yeah,
So I do think though that is a good topic to think about is like um, yeah, how much is too much disc golf? Because definitely after a certain amount of holes, like I can feel my arm to get tired. But it's also like, is that also a true testament to if you are one of the best players?
yeah,
If you can last that long and you can keep throwing, and like obviously the more holes that you throw, the better idea you're going to get of who can play at that level for that long.
totally. I think there's also like everyone says there's in shape, but there's also like a disc golf shape, and I think I'm finally like getting to the point where I feel like I'm in better disc golf shape. Like me and Dave, we went and played two very not very hard but very long technical courses that took a lot of like not only body energy but brain energy as well. And by the time we were done with the second course, I was ready to go home after like hole 12 or 13 at that course just because if you go play not let's say you go play a par 3 course, cool, and then you go play a par 4 or 5 course with par threes, your body's just like, oh, this hurts and throwing a disc. You're hiking, your legs get tired, your back gets tired. There definitely is a disc golf shape, and I think I'm finally getting there because of how much disc golf we've been playing, Dave.
We've been playing a lot of disc golf. I think that day we walked like 7 miles just on courses,
Mm-hmm.
like in those rounds that we played,
Yeah,
not including all the, in between stuff. Um, and yeah, just throwing a lot of throws.
yeah.
Like at some point, I feel like too, like you got to put yourself on a pitch count
Mm-hmm.
because my arm was killing me the next day.
Oh yeah, my arm and shoulder were so tired, and my elbow was just like freaking at me. So yeah, there's definitely disc golf shape, and it's not a big topic I want to get into right now, but it's early season for some of us, and the pros, they're getting to hit peak form in season, hopefully, or getting close to it, and these next few events are going to be super fun to watch. So cool. Um, that was Champions Cup, PDJ Champions Cup 2024 covered. Boom. Um, Jack, let's throw it over to you, man. I know you have a lot to talk about. A lot that you want to get off your mind in the disc golf scene and do all that. So let's hear it out.
Yeah, one question I was just thinking about um, for you guys was sometimes I find that when I was really playing a lot of disc golf, and this was not even 2 years ago, right? When I was playing disc golf at least 3, 4 times a week. Um, I wasn't really working on my game. I just was getting out there to get reps, and I didn't really find myself getting better. And then like I wouldn't play for a while, and then I'd go play, and I'd play like the best game I ever played, and it made no sense to me, you know. Um, Wanted to hear just like if when you guys go out there and you play, are you always having something that you're working on, that you're reviewing on your game, or your or do you kind of run the same thing I do, where you're just going out there for reps, and then like sometimes you take this long break, and then like I literally went and played disc golf the other day, and like one of the best rounds of my life, and I'm like I'm not even playing it, so
Dave, I'm gonna
I
let you
think
take the lead.
I was gonna say, I think for me, a lot of times it's Ian and I like to call it an activity round, where you're just kind of going out, throwing a bunch of shots, hoping that you do well, but you're not really focused on anything. Like I might be, in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, I need to be more conscious about this, or like getting my putt straight. But I 100% agree. I know when I take like a week off or something like that, and I come back, I'm like, huh, I figured out how to play disc golf again. Like all of a sudden my putts start flying the way I expect them to. I'm hitting my lines, and I think a lot of that just comes from like lowering expectations on yourself and like not trying to drive too hard into what you're doing. Because a lot of times with like doing form correction or stuff like that, your accuracy is going to suffer, right? I know when I was trying to like drive through my legs instead of like pulling everything with my arms, my shots were going either early release left or like super grip locked right. And it's like, oh, but I'm actually getting that like driving. I just got to figure out the timing. Um, but I definitely have those days where I'm like, cool, I just need to take a week off, come back, forget all the bad stuff I was doing, let my body recover, and then like figure it back out. Um, I really only play like consciously when we're doing like tournament prep or something like that. I know Ian and I recently had a round where like we were focused more on, what is the smart shot versus like just having fun kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know, dude. I have the same feeling where it's like you take time off and you just come back and you feel like you're the best disc golfer ever.
yeah, right.
Um, yeah, Jack, I know we've talked about this, but I think having a healthy break in your disc golf is good. Like, I don't think we'll play tomorrow. Um,
I'm out.
I think I'm good. We've played like 6 rounds in the past 4 days, 3 days,
Yeah.
and it is just it is a grind and going out to the course every day. Like you can't, your body and your mind, like as much as you want to do it, does need a break from it here and there. Um, and yeah, Jack, I would agree. Like there are some days I come back and I'm throwing absolute piss missiles off the tee. They're going 410 now instead of 380. And I'm like, what the hell? But then some days I come back and I'm like, how do I do this again? And it takes me a few holes to get in, and then it's like a whole I don't know, hole like 5 through 16. I'm just like birdie look, birdie look, birdie look, birdie look. But yeah, it's definitely ebbs and flows to that. I can I can totally see where you're coming from. Taking a break definitely does help my disc golf, but I think for me, I've been putting out back at least for 20-30 minutes every day, just getting the putter out because that's a big thing in disc golf is putting. So
I think it's such a mental game too. Like I feel like I could divide sports up into very mental and like very just I don't want to say physical, but everything else like where you don't need to get in your. I feel like those are more of those team-based sports, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, in disc golf, I always found myself like, damn, I think you said it right. Like, you just lower the expectation. You know, you miss your actual putt, and then you're like, "Fuck, I'll just throw another one," and then you make that one perfectly. You know, and it's like, why didn't I just do that the first time? And it's just because those you didn't have the pressure, you didn't have that expectation. Like I remember when me and you Ian played Roots. I think that was a tough first round or first half actually for you. You played really well in the back nine when we met up with that avid Broncos fan. Do
Cheddar.
you remember?
Cheddar.
That was cheddar, cheddar. Um, he, your first nine, I like you were missing easy putts, and then you're or like even some like decently long putts, and then you just throw another one and you make it perfectly straight in there.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but interesting. I think that's like a big thing with disc golf is just the mental aspect of it, and like when you are focusing on your game, like can you work well under pressure? Can you like get in the zone? Do you know what you need to do? Like and be self aware.
Yeah.
I always love that challenge.
Yeah. I
I think
think Dave, real quick, and then I'll hop to you.
yeah.
I think Jack. I think the big thing for me is trying to keep my cool on the course, because even if I I I tend to set a high expectation for myself, and you know that I've always done that. It's what I expect for myself. Do I expect to birdie every hole? No. Do I expect to make every putt? No. Do I expect to play under par at a semi difficult course? Yes. And when that doesn't happen, I find myself like getting not just angry with myself, but angry at my game. Like, why am I not doing this? You know, and I would get really frustrated. And then the rest of my time on the course is just a downfall. Those last 9 holes or whatever hole I explode on, I'm just like, this is dumb. Like, why am I here? Um, and so that's a stress. That's something I'm really trying to work on my game. I think it's also like I need to have food in my body all the time. I gotta be munching. I gotta have Snickers. I gotta have pistachios. I gotta do something. I can't just sit there and like wait for Dave's player four to go make a putt. Obviously in tournament I have to, but like I need to keep moving and like keep my mind busy with something else other than just like I need to make this 30 footer for in tournaments can be 10 minutes. So yeah,
I was gonna say I'm kind of the opposite of you, Ian. I tend to keep things much like lighter, and like I know when I'm playing tournament rounds and people get way too like serious and uptight, it kind of throws me off my groove because I'm just like, cool, we're out here having fun. Like, yeah, I want to win, but also like I don't want to be that guy that's like trying to calm somebody down, having an anger attack on the field and like throwing their discs and getting all pissy and punching a tree or something.
totally.
And I'm just like, cool, like joking and laughing on the tee box, and somebody's over there like, "Be quiet! It's my turn to throw," and like yelling at you and stuff. And it's like, dude, you could talk in my backswing all I want, like all you want. For me, it's just like keeping calm and keeping my like you said, your mind kind of clear. But in a sense, for me, that's like not focusing so much on what I'm doing and more so just about like enjoying where I'm at and having fun with it.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's where you find the most joy. But I also think that's where you find some of the best players is when they have that mentality about it. I've seen in Flagstaff there were many doubles tournaments, and they would always be randomized. You didn't know your partner going into them. There's this big doubles tournament that goes on right by Lake Mary every year, and like everyone goes out there, brings their tents. It's a full like 3 day event. It's not even a course year round. They just set it up just for the tournament. And I went one year with my buddy Matt, and he's very much like me, very much like let's dial in, like do what I got to do, like really focus, like get in my stance, get in your habit. And his partner was the most cool, calm, collected person ever. And like they were just such a good duo and such a good team, um, because of just like having that balance. So it was
They,
cool to see that as well.
yeah, they keep each other in line where they need to be. The one doesn't get too light, the one doesn't get too serious. You're kind of just like in your flow state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, something I did want to, I think, like bring up too was I actually, recently I've been running a lot, so um, just like street running, just and there's a lot of running clubs down here in Phoenix, and so I went to this running club, Phoenix Running Club, and really cool community, like huge, like you're running with 150 people in like downtown Phoenix, like along the streets, so you feel pretty safe, which is great. And we did the 4 mile loop and we came back to this brewery. This brewery had all these disc baskets, you know, outside the brewery. Um, and I decided to just kind of hop in after my run, grab a beer. And I haven't really found a disc golf scene at all. I just feel like there are certain places where disc golfers are a little bit more friendly. And I feel like Phoenix is like, it's a very, very casual disc golf scene. People with their rolly bags that you're like, that would not survive a single chance in like Colorado like courses or something. And they kind of just stick to themselves. And it's just a different vibe here in Phoenix. But I was talking to this guy, and this was one topic I wanted to bring up, and he was mentioning um, he's he started this nonprofit called Disking for Kids. Um, if you look it up online, Disking and then the number four, kids, and it's this program where he started in Flagstaff, and what the whole thing is he goes to these low income neighborhoods, and he takes the kids after school and he brings them and teaches them how to play disc golf. Um, and he does these huge groups. He's been raising all this money to like um, not only teach the kids, give them like starter packs, and just have a great after school activity. And I think it's especially up in Flagstaff where the culture is, taking care of the environment that's around you, um, enjoying the environment that's around you, and um, being a community. And so bumped into him and like literally out of nowhere. I was just one of those things where like I was running, I saw the disc golf, I was like, I shot, and then we just started chalking it up. Um, but there's all these volunteer events, and he's bringing that down to Phoenix. And I think there's just so much room for opportunity down here. And I haven't reached out to him yet, but I have his number because I want to do more volunteer events. And like, how awesome is that to like, start these kids young with disc golfing. I mean, to be honest with you, like when I said disc golfing had such a big impact on my life, like it was mentally, like when I was, was in school and in like my business club and like do I not miss having to do work past 5 p.m. Like that's where I would go to escape. So much so that like I even got a tattoo of like a disc basket with the mountains that I played at in Flagstaff on my ankle. So um, if I'm having trouble going to bed, I just put myself my favorite course. I get so detail specific. I'm like, what am I wearing? What disc am I like have in my hand? And then I just start a hole one, and I just picture the perfect shot every time. And I just go through the course. And to be honest, I normally fall asleep by hole five, six. But um, like, like like that's what I do to fall asleep, and it's
Yeah.
just it puts me in like a peaceful state of
Yeah. Totally. I think disc golf in general is pretty peaceful. I would say the community up here is awesome. There's definitely your outliers here and there. I told Dave what some guys said to me on the course today when I had the camera, and they weren't too happy that we were out there filming. But obviously, I think they had only played like once or twice before because I don't think they made a birdie or a par on any single hole from watching before when they were behind us and when we let them play through. Um, and they just whatever. But for the most part, everyone down here is so positive and so welcoming in this scene. So that's good to hear that there's something in Arizona. It might not be the and I'll be all disc golf down in Arizona, kind of like another round is here. But it's good to see that that's happening. So I'm stoked for you, Jack. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's progress, right? And especially just like I love to give back, and I also love working with kids. You know, as a camp counselor, you know, me and you both for many years, and um, you know, there is you know giving back, especially to kids who you know like don't have anyone else or don't have anything else, you know, to in their spare time, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think is great to give back. So I definitely need to reach out to him soon and see about any volunteering opportunities to just. I mean, I love disc golf. You know, like being able to show kids that, or like you know, if they got a birdie, like I would get so hyped. Like I think a great example is um, my girlfriend Timber, right? She would always come out and play disc golf with me. At first, like you know, when you first take someone out to go play disc golf, like whoop 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 whoop, you know, like
Yep.
40, 50 feet, you know. It's like, what's going on here? Like, they're trying to figure it out. Well, right off the bat, like, she like, threw it 100 feet and like had this full like lineup, like Kristen Tartar, and I just was like, okay, all right, we got something to work with here. Um, and then like I recorded her farthest zone, like 230, 240 feet, and I just was like blown away. Like I couldn't, I lost it because it was just and now like we go to courses and she's like parring holes out of nowhere, and it's just like that is so cool to see your progression for just like tagging along a couple times with me,
Yeah.
and so I don't know, maybe that's just the nature of myself of I love to teach and I love to give people things, so
Yeah. I
Wow,
think.
I think that's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, we still do that now, Ian. Like looking at your form a year ago versus today, like you just see how far people have gotten, and you're just like, you made what a 65 footer on hole three the other day. It was just like, hell yeah, dude. Like
Yeah.
it was a long, but like you were never making those putts 4 months ago.
No.
You weren't even coming close.
No.
Like,
No.
let's be
I
real.
okay. Okay.
Like,
So okay. Real quick, I just want to put this in perspective. So the if you guys play Creekside, it's hole three, um, where the basket was this past week, not where it is now. Kind of closer to the closer trees. I
the short
was
pin.
the short pin. I was about 65 feet pin high left of that, and so I had a gap about I don't know maybe yay big, and I can only see about that much of the basket, and it was on the right side. So I was like, well, I either like lay up with a hyzer or I run it through this gap. And a year ago, I would have ran it through that gap and hit the first tree available and dropped away and rolled 30 feet away. And, you know, now I'm sinking them from that far. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just cool to see that, right? Like you get stoked about, even if you're competing against that person and you're like, hell yeah, I've never seen you do that. That was an awesome shot. Like,
Yeah.
and like seeing the progression. I don't know. That's what I love about the sport too. That's kind of what got me hooked was I started playing disc golf because one of my buddies hit me up. It was like, hey, you want to go try this thing out? And I was like, sure. I played a little bit of Ultimate in high school and like I was like throwing frisbees and stuff. So it's not that I couldn't throw very far at first. I just didn't understand the discs or anything. And first round out with my buddy, I had like a 170-foot throw in for a birdie on one hole. That was only like 300 feet, but first shot's not going very far. Second shot just gets super lucky and hits chains and drops, and you're just like, now I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Like now I want that feeling again. And like seeing other people get that feeling, you're just like, hell yeah, like you get excited about it.
Yeah. Dude, even today, the course, when we were on hole 14?
The one by the river,
Yeah.
like
And Mike
13.
13. Thank you. Um, and Mike, you know, we were sitting there videoing, and we had a camera on us, and Mike was kind of, our buddy Mike was just kind of walking around with us, and um, you know, we stopped videoing, and Mike is helping these. I'm guessing maybe 12-year-old kids work on form, and like
Yeah, that was 14.
14. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, that is so cool. Like, I want to go do that. Like, And then after he's like, no man, like that's just me like helping the community. I'm like, Mike, like you should do that more often. Like you're a good enough disc golfer that you can help people learn how to disc golf. You know, like teach them the basics. Just get them the right form and the right discs and stuff. And he's like, he kind of blew it off. But I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't even think twice about it either.
No,
Like we were just gonna let the kids play through, and he's like, "Hold on, let me show you how it's done. Let me, teach you some stuff real quick."
yeah, it was cool.
Such a low barrier to entry sport, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Totally.
That's what I love most about disc golf. It's just anyone can do it. You know, it's I've been obviously being in Phoenix. I've been trying to get into actual golf, and like it's tough. Like I just had to drop 250 on a full golf set, and every time I want to go golfing in a good season, it's like 100 $150, and that's a full day thing. Like, uh,
It's a very
I've,
it's very different sports. You know, even though they both have golf in them and the objective is the same and shoot low. Very different sports, just with the community and like the upbringing process of it all. Yeah,
yeah, it's. I mean, regular golf's really hard too.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like you can kind of figure out frisbee golf and get or disc golf. Can't say frisbee golf; it's copyrighted. Um, but you can kind of figure it out after a couple tries at it. You're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get the hang of this. Like, as long as somebody gives you the right discs or you kind of have the right idea of what you're doing. But I've tried to play golf a couple times and no, I'm playing a game of whack fuck. You know,
yeah,
I'm out there for way longer than you should be, and it's just like I'm not having fun with this. It's too hard to figure it out.
yeah. That's that's how I feel about golf. I've had a few good rounds. I played in Hawaii with my mom and her boyfriend once, and I actually parred the hardest par five on the course, and I was so stoked. I was just like, let's go! Like freaking out. I texted our roommate group chat because all my roommates are big golfers, and they were like, nice. And they thought I was saying disc golf, and when I got home, a few days later, I was like, no, golf, and they're like freaking out. So yeah, very different sports, but yeah. So
Hell yeah.
yeah. Jack, next thing.
yep.
You're next. What's next? Or is that all you got for us?
The disking for kids, I think, was the big thing I wanted to touch on. So like, I feel like that's also a very good family thing. You know, like bring the whole family out to a disc golf course.
Yeah.
Um, I think there is like a drought of disc golf in Phoenix, but I don't know what else. Like, you know, I watched your guys' last podcast, and that was really cool to see um, how he's like really building the community, making a push for especially to the city about like we should have disc golf courses, you know, good spots, and having a full project summary behind it. You know, not just being like, hey, we need more disc golf courses, but
Yeah.
having like the funding. I think was a big thing, and like the communities had an outlet to go to be like, hey, like we want this to happen. And then it's like, hey, like here's a website or a platform that's built on that can help your funding. Like, you know, I haven't also given the fact I haven't really, you know, searched hard enough out here. But again, I think the biggest thing is like just with land being so um scarce out in Phoenix, like everyone wants to move here and just
Mm-hmm.
property is so expensive that like it's hard to try to fit in where this golf course fits there. So
Sure.
um,
Sure.
I feel like a lot of that too is like people just don't know, right? Like we had when we went to go play the new course that's going in Draper, a lot of the guys from the city that were working down there, they were just like they showed up with random discs that they bought from the store because they were like, well, we're working on the course, we want to see what this thing's about and like
Mm-hmm.
try it out, and they threw a couple holes with us, and it's just like all of a sudden people like see it because it's in their backyard or it's like at the local park, and they're like, oh, what is this thing like? And then all of a sudden it sparks that interest.
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't have the push from from everybody in the community to do that, like nobody knows yet.
Yeah,
Well,
I think there's so many factors too. Like, I've been to like courses down here that there's not even a single like sign. There's no map, there's no sign. They're crisscrossing, they're overlapping, they're going over the sidewalks. Like, it has been tough to want a disc golf out here. And I think a big thing too is the heat. It's just like
yeah,
there's 7 months that you don't really want to go disc golfing. Um, so I feel like it's definitely been hard, and I miss Flagstaff, and I miss the Colorado courses, and I probably would be playing at least once or twice a week if I were back there, um, in Phoenix or Flagstaff. But I do have my favorite course out here, Buffalo Ridge Disc Golf, and um, it's a super beautiful course. But literally, the second time I went there, like a 5 foot long snake was 2 feet in front of me. So
Oh
I
God.
hate snakes, like, and that enough. Like, I was on edge the rest of it. Was hole two, so I was on edge the
Yeah.
entire rest of the course. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I definitely do wish there were more accessible, diverse courses out here in Phoenix, but I will always bring my bag with me if I get out of here. So
Sure. Yeah. Sweet. Jack, speaking of Colorado and Arizona courses, let's jump into it, brother. I have them up here. You guys can pull them up on Udisc if you want. I can. Do you want me to just share my screen, boys?
go for it.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. This one. Go. Okay. Um. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Beaver Ranch Disc Golf Course. So, me and Jack. Let me pull up this map real quick. I used to live right here. And this course was about, it doesn't look that far, but with driving dirt roads in Colorado, about 15-20 minutes from my house. First time I ever like played disc golf without knowing what disc golf was here at Beaver Ranch. I had me, my mom, my sister, I think Jack and our friend Jordan all came out with like frisbees and just threw threw for a little bit. Super fun course. Jack, you wanna talk to us?
yeah, so when I think we first played this course, there wasn't that shop there,
No.
right? And you would walk up, and this course I love so much because um, I guess not only its difficulty, I love the longer holes. I just love these big, long holes where you're just like, there's so many different options. Like, you walk up to the hole and you're like, damn, like I could throw leg backhand, like I could go over that tree, left of that tree, over that, under here. Like, it's like the world is your oyster. Which line do you want to choose? And I think on every hole, I was throwing a different shot because I was just trying to find it. But um, a lot of uphills and a lot of downhills, which I think made it super fun. There's even one where you're shooting across the valley, so it's like you're shooting way up here, the basket's way up here, and like there's this giant valley in the middle, so your disc like just looked like it was so high up in the air. Um, the first one, two, three, really four holes are all uphill holes, like steep uphill holes. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have one flat hole, and then it's one, two, three, four downhill holes. So that are like 500 feet plus. So um, just so many beautiful views, just so well maintained. Like these just big wooden benches after every hole. They put a shop in there after a while, probably around like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I believe. And so, which was great because then you could buy discs there, but I didn't mind paying, like I was going to go disc golfing either way, and a couple bucks wasn't going to hurt me. And I knew it was going towards bettering the course, which I saw over time that it did. So, like,
Yeah.
that is one something that I always am like, I don't mind, like if there's a little shop in the booth and like I have to pay like $5. I understand like how I said the barrier to entry I love about disc golf, but also at the same time being an avid disc golfer at the time and knowing that money was going to bettering the course um, made me feel good about it. So I would just say the big oversights, so well maintained, and different lines you can take on all these holes.
Yeah. That's one thing we've talked about in the past, Dave. Jack, I don't know if you listened to that episode, but is having a course here in Utah where it is pay to play, whether that's $3, $5, $10, um, just to keep some of these courses a little nicer, and so the city will get off our ass.
That
um,
and I think the big thing with that too is it kind of keeps it true to disc golf. Like a lot of the parks that we have are, public parks. And like you said, you're thrown across sidewalks, people walk in here and there. And it's like if you do have a pay for course, you know that it's just going to be disc golf. You don't have to worry about hitting any pedestrians or anything like that. Like you can kind of just go out and have fun and like not have to worry about all the randomization of where you're at.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Next course, shall we?
Yep.
McPherson Park, Flagstaff, Arizona. Boy, do I love this course, Jack. Boy, do I love it. Dave, I think you would actually really like this course too.
I
Um,
think Dave needs to take a trip to Flagstaff.
Dave, we should take a trip to Flagstaff.
I've never been down to that part of Arizona.
We should go.
Um, I've only been
It's,
down to Havasu.
Hmm.
I mean, there's just five incredible disc golf courses. That's my favorite hole right there. That first
Yeah.
photo, top left. Um, it's just everything about it. Like you literally get everything um, within this course. Good mix of challenging. The front nine is very different than the back nine. Um, front nine is very. I feel like there's a couple like holes that you're in really tight trees, but mostly that front nine is pretty open, and it's weird how it separates because there's this one hole that like it's literally a hole practically a hole 10, right? So you cross the valley, and it's just like a totally different type of disc golf. So it's cool to see like, all right, when you play there a lot, it's how am I going into like the second half of the course, and you always want to put yourself like a couple shots down because there are some holes in the back nine that are just really tough. Um,
Yeah. It's a great course though, Dave. Looking at these photos, like this, me and Jack have both. This is the one
this
I'm
is
thinking
ace.
of, Jack. When we were like doing ace runs on that one hole.
Yep, this is ace run hole.
Yeah, we were sitting here for like probably 20 minutes going and grabbing discs. Um, I think we hit pole once and we hit top cage once.
Damn.
It's a dude, Dave. You would love this course. It's beautiful.
I also love that there's so many trees on the course. Like wooded disc golf's not something we have a whole lot of up here.
Mm,
I feel like, and big trees, creating actual fairways and stuff like that just
yeah,
make for such fun disc golf.
yeah. Hole 10 and this hole, and I think there's one other hole. It's the one, Jack, where you're kind of going across back towards, and it's really open, but the green is really really tight. Um,
Yep.
there's only like three holes where it's open shots, and this is one of them. The basket's usually back here somewhere, and you can take the straight shot or you can take the big hyzer. And if you take the big hyzer and you get stuck in these branches, good luck getting your disc down. So,
Again, I just love playing disc in the trees. I love having that obstacle because I feel like I can't throw it the farthest. Like I've never been able to get close to the 400s. I can hit 350s, 370s maybe, but um, having like some of the shorter holes, but like getting technical with your shot and like seeing it like barely skip by a tree, make it through this insane gap. It's like I think that's another really satisfying side of it too. And then like when you play these courses enough, you know the exact shot, you know that you want to take too. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say it gives you like an aim point, and it's so gratifying when you hit it, and you're just like, that was the shot.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
instead of it being like an yeah, instead of it being like an open field, and you're like, ah, that was a little left, that was a little right. It's like, no, you had to hit this line, you did it perfectly.
Yeah.
and that's where like I was telling you about my dreams. Like I just dreamed of that perfect shot, like hitting through that gap and a perfect S turn, right? Uh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, which one's this is to Fort Todd Hill. This is
Yeah.
probably the
This
the
this
this is
is
probably you
Dave.
go
This
for it.
is the fort of Flagstaff.
Okay.
So Fort Tut Hill, par
I mean, it is
three.
a fort.
Well, it is a fort. um, really awesome course. It's mainly par threes, but there are some par fours. Is there any par fives, Jack?
Hole 18 can be a par five.
Hole 18, right? Dude, this course is just stunning. It's a lot like McPherson, tight trees, but this one's tougher because there's actual like fairways instead of just random trees. And if you get off those fairways by more than I don't know 10, 15 feet, you are in good luck getting back or advancing further up the fairway without just pitching out.
Yeah. Tight
Yeah.
fairways, less hilly, I would say, than McPherson. Definitely a lot less hilly than Beaver Range, but still just I think this course just has incredible layout. Like the layout of this course is just so well thought out. Um, like
God,
I've never had a problem with pace on this course,
yeah,
or like having to wait a big group. It's just rare too.
yeah,
Some elevated baskets in there you might have seen too, which is always fun. Uh, so I would say Fort Tut and McPherson are definitely in the top of Flagstaff. And again, all Flagstaff courses, they now have five, are all within 10 minutes of each other. And like, I mean, to be honest, Flagstaff is, you get to one, it's 15 minutes from one end to the other end of the town. But it's just cool that these super nice, well maintained courses are all just super close. And you may have heard of Thorpe Park, probably one of, I think it's actually rated one of the hardest courses in the U.S. Um, I don't know if there's like ratings for the courses here. Um, yeah, Thorpe with an E at the end.
I'm looking.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
this is one of the hardest rated courses. No one like it's just such a tough course. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like this is where you go to like you're hitting like there's trees that like all the bark is shaved off. Like first just from the first tree.
Yeah. This is a beautiful course, and these
You
trees
can
are tall
see
enough you can't just hyzer over them either.
I can't throw the thumber line.
No.
like yeah, like you can just see like the
Yeah.
baskets are behind these trees every hole. Yeah.
It's awesome.
So I know this is not one of my favorites, but if you need a challenge, Fort Park is big.
I always love playing harder courses and kind of getting my ass kicked sometimes. I did that up at when I was in Oregon for a buddy's wedding. I played up at Blue Lake, which is what the Portland Open used to be at, or one of the courses it used to be at. And that was before, like you said, when I was throwing like maybe 350 was a long drive, didn't have the best accuracy. That thing ate me alive. Like I was out there hunting discs in the blackberry bushes, which are just like all thorns, and like trying to find stuff. And it was kind of like at first it was fun, and then you start being like, all right, I need to get better at this game. But it's always nice to have that like, oh wow, there are courses that can really like just kind of destroy you. It's not all just par three pitch and putts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, this course is just a dreamy course. It's just a par 3 course, just in Arvada, so kind of closer to downtown Denver. And for all players, I mean, it's just so green, so like, I mean, look at if you go to that photo of just like those little stones crossing the river, you're just like, um, it's yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, just beautiful. I mean, so many, the river never gets too high or too crazy too. So there's always a water hazard throughout the entire course. But it's just all these short holes. It's just so fun. It's so beautiful. Um, like
That's
it's
sick.
around a neighborhood that just loves disc golf and cares so much about disc golf. So well maintained too. Um, just love everything about this course, and it's where like I would bring my family or you'd go on a date. It's just like you could do anything here. You could just picnic afterwards.
Yeah, this is a beautiful course. I have never played Johnny Roberts. I've wanted to, but after I moved out here, just disc golfing out here has been awesome, and I do want to do a trip to Denver and get some disc golf in. So that'll happen sooner than later, hopefully.
Yeah, I haven't ventured too much into Colorado. I've played a couple rounds out in Colorado, mostly in the Frisco Dillon area, because I got some old college buddies that live out there that are big disc golfers. One of my good buddies plays MPO, and dude's a beast at disc golf. Kind of. I when I first started doing tournaments, I would call him every time and be like, "What am I doing wrong? Help me! Like, I need to fix this." And I remember I went out there and played a tournament with him, and obviously I was playing a lower division. And Colorado disc golf just it's even different from Utah, right? Like you're still in the mountains, you're still playing that similar game, but I know that course is at like 9, 10,000 feet, so it's still massive elevation change to Salt Lake. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just you got to play here a lot to figure it out. And Colorado just has so many good courses; it's hard to hit a lot of them.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. I was actually planning on last summer to do a full Colorado road trip with one of my buddies, and we were planning out, and then I got super sick literally a couple days before, and we had to cancel. And I was so bummed because we were gonna hit all those courses like I showed you. So
Yeah,
uh, it's okay though.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see your guys' dream course. Hopefully, there's some
Yes.
holes in here I'm aware of.
so
So Dave, go for it.
I was gonna say we're gonna preface this with we only used courses that we've or holes that we've played before in this. So we kind of like pick certain holes out of like some of our favorite places, whether it's because of the aesthetics or how the hole played or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's not a we design course. It's more of a if I could pick certain holes out of certain areas and put them all into one, this is what it would be.
Yeah, and I definitely want to preface that this is only the front nine. The back nine, we can talk about it later, but um, we kind of just threw this together because we thought it'd be a fun thing to do. We were supposed to do this 2 weeks ago, and then we had Scott on, and that was awesome, and just didn't want to extend longer than we had to. Last week was Ben, and this week with Jack. Jack actually helped me remember some of these holes because I played them, but I didn't play them enough to remember the name or exactly what hole it was. So describing the hole to Jack to try and help me out was awesome. So Jack, I'm glad you're here and you get to witness the dream course. So you boys ready?
Hell yeah.
Do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Oh God, is it gonna do this? Oh God. Hold on.
Ah, hole one's right.
Okay. Well, my screen's broken, but it looks fine on the stream. Hole one. Valdez Firewood, hole nine, par three, 247 feet. Um, I love this hole. This hole nine was also going to the same basket as hole 10. Um, I just loved it because it was a mandatory water carry. You could throw it straight mid range. When I was playing this at the time, I'm actually throwing a 10-speed driver in this picture because I didn't know how to play disc golf yet or didn't have great form. But it's just a beautiful place, and there's two pin locations. The first one is off to the left, kind of by that big tree. And then the second pin location is kind of, if you look at my disc, it's about 10 feet left of my disc, just off the water. Beautiful, not a challenging first hole, but a beautiful, like, you want to get birdie hole. So, okay.
And a scary water carry to start the day.
Yes, totally.
Right.
If you put, let's say you're going the hyzer play and it's too wide, you're never getting OB, and you're re-teeing, or if you put it so far right, you're actually throwing from par, kind of where my head's at, in those grass. So definitely a tough hole. So, okay, hole two. Dave, this is you.
It is Stafford Woods. I haven't looked at the petition recently, but save Stafford Woods. It's a top rated course in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, but never got to play it until I started playing disc golf after I moved to Utah. Um, it's hole two, playing in the long right position, and it's a very like tight wooded fairway that you kind of want to throw something either backhand, like a really flippy late turnover shot, or just something kind of straight down the fairway because it's way too far for like my forehand to be able to skip right. Um, and if you're in the woods right or left at all, you're scrambling with almost no lookout. You're kind of just pitching out or trying to throw like a thumb or something to get out of the woods, forehand roller. Um, and then takes a hard dog leg right. I've had like one or two eagle looks at this hole, and it's like the most satisfying thing in the world when you have like a 80-foot eagle look on a hole that's like a tight, narrow wooded fairway. Um, and I love just having par fours on a course. Like it makes it more fun and interesting. Gives you a couple shots to figure it out.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun hole to play. Um,
Yeah, it's also wild going to play it down from Salt Lake, so it's like at sea level, and none of my discs
everything's
did what I thought what they would do.
everything's flippier. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Let's move on. Hole three, Blue Lake. This is also a Dave hole.
It is also a par four. This is one of my favorite holes at Blue Lake because it has like a designated landing zone, and you can kind of see all the brush that's like not mowed is just like thick, long grass and sometimes blackberry bushes that have thorns on them. So it's like super punishing if you don't land in the landing zone there. Um, if you got the distance, you can go for it, but that little circle around the pin is maybe 40, 45 feet wide. So super tight trying to throw a 500-foot bomb. Um, it's also kind of a off the tee pad there right before the little ravine. It's real easy to hit that first tree. You know, you think you could throw the spike hyzer, but the bushes right next to you are kind of like in your head about it, and you're like, no, I got to go straight, and you could easily hit that tree and just drop OB there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Super fun and technical hole where it's like, yeah, you got to throw the right shot twice to make sure you're in the right landing spots to get a birdie on that one.
Sick. Love it. Hole four, Fort Tut Hill. Hole six, Jackie.
Uh,
Go. Yeah, Jackie,
or
you know this one. Downhill, super tight tunnel.
no, hole four is coming back right near hole one.
Well, I screwed up then.
So
Oh
saying
no,
No,
it's
it's
that.
hole six. It's hole six at Tut Hill.
Um,
It's our hole four. It's hole six at Tut Hill.
okay, so then um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Um, oh, this is an interesting look. It's in the B location on here. Okay, the A location here again, 274, not too far. It's like this mellow downhill. The coolest part about this is that there's this tight alley, and then when you get probably 50, no, not even 50, it's closer than like 20 feet out from the basket where you're shooting from, there's these super tall, skinny trees, probably about 8 feet apart. And then there's one more tree just behind it, right by the basket, that curl in a flux like this. So it's literally like if you get a perfect straight shot, you can make it almost like a triple Mando, where you're in between those two trees, and then there's this curved tree. And the amount of times, like if you go to the right of the skinny tree, you may hit that curved tree. You don't want to try to do a flick straight shot. Like you definitely get in your head, but it's just such an interesting hole because there's those two skinny trees and then this curved tree that's literally like if the branches are long enough, they're touching the basket. It's like what is going on?
Yeah.
Dang,
Yeah. I
I
I
like
love
it.
it. I love this hole. I find it so fun. I don't know why. I don't even think I've ever played that bad on it. I don't even think I've bogeyed it. Um, every time I've played it, I've like had a good shot, and I don't think it gets in my head. Dave, it's a very similar shot to like Four Creekside, but imagine a lower hanging ceiling with a downhill shot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar. But off to the right. So
Nice.
yeah.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Our hole five. Um, Dave,
Oh,
break us down.
Milo MacGyver, another Portland course. Um, I got to play this as well when I was out there just after the Beaver State Fling, which plays here. I know he wanted to include a par five on the Dream course, and I haven't played that many par fives. It's not a whole lot in Utah. Um, but this one was super fun because it follows this long pathway next to a river, and there's lots of little trees scattered here and there. So you think it's an open shot, but then you have to hit like a 50-foot gap over to the right and then have it hyzer back out and hit another 50-foot gap to the left. And then throw like your next two up shots are just kind of trying to stay in the fairway. And it's real easy to hit a tree, kick out right OB, kick out left, and then not have an upshot. Um, just a super fun hole that you can throw like 10 different kinds of shots on if you wanted to. I threw a mix of backhands, forehands. My one buddy was trying to throw rollers on it to try to get distance. Like, it's kind of a pick your own adventure hole, and that's kind of what I love about it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, moving on. Hole six. This is another Valdez course. Valdez hole. So this is hole 14. Um, I think I birdied hole 14 one time, and it was because it was a 75-foot throw in because I was throwing at 70 feet instead of putting back then. Um, the basket location is kind of tough to see. You can kind of see one dead ahead there, but you have this. I would say it's maybe 80-foot water carry off the tee, and the pin location we want it in is its B location, so it's actually farther back, and you can't really just play the hyzer shot because of how many trees. Um, you could play like a flex forehand off this gap and try and go real wide left and have it skip, but that grass can get really long, so it's not going to skip for you, and you're still probably 150 out at that next set of trees. Um, and it's just a really techy like you need to have really good accuracy off the tee to be able to even have a birdie look. And then if you somehow go long on, let's say you hit early and you need an upshot, or you're off in the right woods, if you go long or at right at all on this hole, you're in jail. Like, there's nothing to get you out except a pitch up, and sometimes it takes two pitch outs to get back on the fairway. So, very technical, fun par three. Um, I miss this hole a lot. I really do. This is my favorite, one of my favorite holes living up in Alaska. So, okay, hole seven. Dave,
Jollies.
Jollies.
I like hole 7 if you play it as an island. I think that makes it super fun. Um, they built that little island there that you could see, Jack, that the pin's sitting on top of. It
Yeah.
used to just be out in the field, and then they built that structure around it, and it just makes it such an aesthetic hole. Um, you have what, a 20-foot wide gap in off the fairway, or
Yeah.
like 10 feet off of the tee box. It's like those trees are maybe 20 feet wide in your viewpoint,
Yeah, and
and
the left trees are tight. Like they're close to you. Like getting a backhand out there is kind of scary.
yeah, um, and it's just such an aesthetic, like throwing to that island. It's got to be a touchy shot. It's only what, 236.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a touchy little hole that you're like either trying to flick a forehand out, or I know Ian laced a putter and gave it a ace run when we played it the one day, and just a super fun little, like you said, techie hole. Not long. It's not necessarily hard, but I always want to throw like 50 shots when we play it.
Yeah, it's also beautiful.
Yeah.
It for your guys' last video, did you guys both make island?
We both technically missed island.
Technically,
I came up just short, and Ian landed on it and then skipped off the backside.
Oh,
yeah,
see, I remember you like. I know you hit rim with it, but that's fun. Kind of having your little mini game within the game.
yeah. But
Yeah,
we played as hazard, so you're not going to like a drop location, right? J- like landing on the island is hard. Like it's rocks. There's nothing, no grass to grab you. I think if there was grass, that'd be awesome. But I think it's gonna stay rocks for now. But like at a pro level, if you put that hole on a pro level and put grass on it or keep it rocks, pros are gonna have a tough time hitting that because if you hit the first rock or the second set of rocks or the third set of rocks, you have a very high chance of just kicking away. So
yeah, and that basket is like on the backside of the island, so you kind of have to come up like a little bit shorter. If
and
you ace run it, you're definitely going long.
the backside doesn't have the same like depth. So it's like the island is here and the pin's here and it kind of slowly goes up. The backside kind of just like drops off immediately. I think there's only maybe 5-10 feet behind it. So
Yeah, super cool hole though, like really pretty from the tee pad.
mm-hmm. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
Hole 8,
it's
Brighton
all
Disc
you, Ian.
Golf Course. Hole 6. Hole 6 at Brighton. Hole 8 for us. Par 4, 567. I think me and Dave both wanted another mountain um, shot in here. Um, basically, Jack, there's two ways to play this off the tee pad. The way I'm playing it in this photo is the hyzer route, which is 15 feet
That
wide.
yeah, it's not very big.
15 feet wide, and you just want to hyzer as far left as possible. And get yourself into the open, kind of where that second snow patch is in the picture, um, or else you're blocked off by a tree in the middle of the fairway. Um, or there's a big Annie route that we don't see in this photo, which is just like grab your most understable disc, put it flat or on some Annie, and just rip it uphill as high as you can, and try and chunk a little more distance off it. And then your second shot is you're trying to get down into that set of trees. So it's uphill, probably about 30, 40 feet of elevation, and then downhill, probably 100 feet over 300 yards.
300 feet.
300 feet, thank you. Um, and then as you get closer to the basket, there's trees everywhere. There's not a fairway um, in there. I think there is technically a fairway, but it's only like 8 feet wide.
Not
And
even.
yeah, you just want to get like down as far into those trees to hope that you have a putt or an easy way to save par. Like it's a par 4, you want a par. I don't think there were very many birdies on it when MPO when Utah State was happening and MPO were playing. I don't think there was a single birdie on my card that I caddied for. So fun, technical par four with a big rip into a big rip into hope you have a shot for a putt. So
Yeah, a lot of elevation change, which is kind of cool. You don't really, I feel like with mountain golf, you don't really play uphill and then downhill on the same one.
mm-hmm.
It's normally one or the other. That's what kind of makes it such a fun little hole. That and you're trying to throw a driver as hard as you can off the tee box and hit a 20-foot gap.
Yeah, yeah, pretty insane.
I would love to play Brighton.
Yeah, when you were here last, Brighton wasn't quite open yet, so
It's a beautiful course.
beautiful. Oh, it's stunning. Yeah. Okay, last hole. You guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. We all know it. We all love it.
It's made the commercials for the Pro Tour this year.
It has made commercials for the Pro Tour this year. Jack, we didn't get to go play the fort, did we, when you were here?
The two, I know Brighton or the Fort. I know.
Damn.
Tough.
Well, I think the fort was underwater when you were here. Brighton was still not open. I think Solitude had just opened, but there was still snow on the ground last year, so. Yeah. Fun, techie par 3 that everyone's like, it's such an easy island hole. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not. As you saw in the DGN commercials, it's not.
It plays so far downhill, you think it's just a putter, and then your putter glides straight into the lake. You try to play the hyzer line, and you need something to spike really hard, or just like have so much touch on this hole. It's such an interesting shot. Like I don't know. I remember the first time I played it, I was like, oh, it's just a putter, and then I didn't even get across that little road there because I tried to throw it like straight out instead of nose down towards the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and it just went absolutely nowhere. And then my second shot was a forehand that went right into the water. And I was
Yep.
like, what am I doing? I have
Yep.
no idea how to throw this.
Yeah. Jack, can you take a guess of what disc I'm throwing in that picture?
You throwing the Mako?
No, I'm throwing a pig. At the time it was my most stable putter, but it is now shit the bed. So cool. That's me and Dave's dream course, Jack. If you could add a hole to that, what would it be?
Um, Probably hole one of the other course by Beaver Ranch. The other one in Conifer.
I can't remember what it's called, but sweet.
It's a. I will get back to you on it, and I will have you bring it up on one of your next podcasts because it's hole one. It's like a 790 foot, and it's just like such a big downhill shot. And then it just the hole just looks so far away, and it's just, I think it's the craziest hole one I've ever seen. You know,
Yeah.
um, I'm blanking on the course, but it's right next to Beaver Ranch.
All right. Well,
That's wild that that's a hole one.
I know. That's how it starts.
That reminds me of like hole 18 at Solitude. That's at like 1,400-foot par four that shoots down like the Main Street Trail. And your tee shot, you're trying to get like 1,000 feet basically across the road off the tee to get close.
Jeez.
And that's the finishing hole. I couldn't imagine starting on a hole like that. That's wild.
Yeah. Cool. Jack, I'm gonna ask you to go get a disc or two from your collection.
I've had my disc near me this whole time.
Okay, good. So he was prepared. Dave, look, we got a long-term podcaster on our hands right here.
Bailey disc, of course.
Bailey's course. Okay, here before we
To be
forget.
honest, permanently closed it and shut it down.
No.
But it was literally like, oh my god, this
Is
course.
it still on UDisc?
It says permanently closed, because I remember hearing um, that they're gonna take it down. Which I don't. I just think it was just such an incredibly hard course. Like I barely saw anyone playing that
It
course
wasn't Bucksnort,
because
was it?
it was in Bailey. Um,
Glen Idle?
no, I have it right here. I mean, you can kind of
Oh,
see. Oh, damn it.
no, no, hold on. Do that again. Or turn your
Uh,
brightness down.
so like it's hard to tell in this, but you like literally like walk up 150, like you just are doing this huge hike up this like to the top of the mountain to get to hole one, and then you just throw this giant downhill. Um, oh my god, the basket is just.
So far away.
Let's see what should it is. Yeah, it's not even let you start around, um, because
It's closed.
it's tough. But I do have my disc ready.
Okay. Um, do you mind if I go first, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, let's see it. Jack,
So, do we call this favorite disc, or we call this? What do we call it?
discs of the week. You know.
Okay. Disc of the week, the Berg.
Oh,
What? Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
it
Okay.
would never make the podcast if you didn't bring it up. So
What?
Go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What are your guys' opinions on the Berg?
I
Though
hate
I'm
it.
curious.
I hate it.
I don't think it's bad. I don't love the hand feel of it. I think there's a lot more useful discs that do what the Berg claims that it does. I mean, the fact that they say it only has one glide, and I've seen people throw it 350 feet before, just not true. Um, I don't know. It's never found a place in my bag. I've thrown it a couple times, and just I was not a fan of how it felt as far as like a throwing putter.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Um,
um, Jack,
Also,
I'm gonna tell you why I hate it, and then we can go back. Um, I not only hate the Berg, I just don't like one speeds because I don't like the way they feel in my hand, and I feel like there are two and three speeds that feel better in my hand for throwing that do the same exact thing. Hand closed.
okay. I will say this is not a putter I use to putt. I use my envy to putt.
Good
It's
man.
my main putter. I feel like the Berg for me, I've always like I don't know. I just sometimes feel like I have trouble gripping, and I think a lot of my bad shots are just when I lose grip. And I love just the thicker grip to it. I think I hyped the Berg so much up in my head, like it's time for the Berg. That like the confidence boost I get that I just play so well with it. I think I also love it does. I've found that I love using this when there's a lot of wind. I don't know why. Like I feel like it doesn't get affected by the wind because it doesn't have the ton of the lips on the side of it. Um, and you can kind of see that if you use it, especially like you give it a good amount of power on a putt, like it's gonna hold that, and it's gonna treat you nice if you do give a little power. I think that's where Dave, you said you'll see people rip the Berg, and you're like, what's going on?
mhm.
I feel confident giving it a little bit more oomph, whereas some of my other putters, like I just don't feel confident giving them that much power. So
Totally.
I'm going with the Bird because I hype it so much up in my head that it's my go-to, and I'm like, I need to hit this. Like I'm pulling out the Bird. I love how it feels in my hand. Um, I don't know. To me, it's a fun disc to have, and it's not for everyone. But if you can find a place for it, like it will treat you nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have one of those in my bag. I know my crossbow is not everybody's cup of tea. I've been forcing that on a lot of people recently, though.
Yeah. Jack, you remember my low key from Viking discs and my super stable 4 speed?
What was this called?
The Loki.
Um,
Just kind of like that, like off red color. That's anyways. That's what Dave's crossbow is essentially, just beef. So
Slow tilt.
slow tilt. Yeah, beefalo.
yeah.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So I'm doing Buzz this week. Um. Here's why. Okay. And I was gonna pick Envy's, but we're gonna save that until Lumpy gets an ace. Um. But this is the first Buzz I got. It's still not quite beat in. I have a Buzz OS, which I'm counting as a Buzz. It's the same mold, just a little bit higher up on the shoulder. And then I have this Six Claw Paul Macbeth Buzz. I've kind of like I was missing a lot of slots in my bag this year. Um, and I was filling them with random discs, like a Dune. I still love my Dune. It might still go in the bag, but the consistency that these 3 discs have for me have been shocking, like truly shocking to me, and that's why it's my disc of the week. I really don't know which one of these, the pink and yellow one, I'm bagging yet for just my Buzz slot. This Buzz OS is staying in the bag until somehow it becomes a roller. I'm not kidding. Like this thing is awesome. I also just love the pink and green. It looks so good. So,
It does.
those are my discs of the week. Um, yeah, Ben hooked me on it. I'm surprised I'm saying this right now, but I might forever keep a Buzz in my bag.
He was a big proponent of the Buzz.
He was.
I know he has a Buzz in his bag that he's had for like 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, Jack,
So
you gotta
he will tell
see this.
everybody to bag one.
You gotta see this thing. It is it's like a white that's so beat up, and it doesn't have a sharp edge anymore. It's just round, but the thing is literally pinpoint straight. It's crazy. So cool. Anything else, boys? Is that it? We good?
I think that's it for this week.
Sweet. Jack.
Dave, you don't have a desk?
No, Dave gets
No,
next week. We
we
rotate weeks.
yeah.
Okay.
So we always let the guest do one, and then Ian and I will rotate each week.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, are we just totally skipping over you? But all
Yeah.
right, cool.
No,
No, because if we did it, one of us every week, we'd probably run out of discs before we'd run out of podcast time. So
although at the rate that we've been buying now that the shop's open,
yeah, it might never happen. We got to keep a track of what discs we use. I mean, I have a pretty good idea, but we need to keep track.
yeah, I'm trying to remember my past weeks now too because
Yeah,
I've had a lot of new discs coming in and out.
yeah. So cool. Well,
I
Jack. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, and then we'll close out.
I was gonna leave it on one thing. I don't know if you guys probably already know about this, but I was speaking with one of my other buddies about UDisc, and there's a lot of incredibly new updates. Apparently, you can see in the last day, week, or 30 days what people have scored on there, on that course. So I don't know if you guys knew about that, but me and my buddy just found out about it. How we think that's such a cool feature. It's kind of like you can see everyone too, which is I
Yeah.
just think the coolest part. Like you don't have to be friends and add all your people and follow them. Like kind of like Strava. That's gonna like I don't know who to follow on my runs and stuff, but this is really cool to be like, all right, like what are people like averaging here and how can I benchmark myself?
I I
So maybe
think
it's
that
like a
I think that's been in there for a while, but they're updating it so it's easier to access and you don't have to dig through UDisc to find it anymore.
It might have also been a paid one in the past, and now it's free. As part of the paid subscription. But I like that for when I go to like new courses and I'm like, oh, how did I do? I remember the first time I played Urban Forest, I shot what I thought was really well, and I looked at it and I was like tied for top of round of the week, and I was like, holy crap, like I've never played here. That's really good. And then I looked at like the 30-day list and I'm like, oh, nobody's played here this week. Got it. Like
Yeah.
Well, hey, UDisc tip of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sweet. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you're listening on Spotify, check out the YouTube. If you're listening and watching on YouTube, go check out the Spotify. Vice versa. Boys, thanks so much, Dave. Um, I might see you next week. It might just be an Ian podcast next week. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
be on vacation visiting family. So
so
I
Jack,
think I'll be back, but we'll see.
yeah, hopefully. So Jack, if you want to
Yeah.
join me next week and we can just shoot the shit more, I'm totally down. But we'll see. I'm not gonna hold you to the girlfriend and the cats. So
We'll see. Thanks for having me, guys.
yeah,
Much appreciated.
sweet.
Always love
Heck yeah.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
sharing.
night.
Thanks.